Hi folks, Jeff Hetherington, the Profitability Coach. Today I just want to talk to you a little bit about your business model. I've just read a great article on Disney and what Disney's been doing. Now, none of us are Disney size, very few of us, I understand that, but there are some lessons to be learned from what they've done there. Up until probably 12 months ago, Disney was licensing or renting access to their back catalogue to places like Netflix and Stan for very high fees, but they were doing that. But what they came to realise was, of course, that they weren't doing anything to enhance their future revenues, their current revenues, or their brand moving forward. So when those agreements ended, they took them back and they launched their own streaming channel, Disney Plus. And on Disney Plus, what they've done is, because of COVID, they've recently released one of their marquee tent productions, Mulan, online. I think it's $30 a head or something to see it. It's not in my target market. It's not really on my radar. But what they've done is very important. Warner Brothers released Tenet, the latest Christopher Nolan movie. It did 235 million worldwide. It probably needed 400 million to break even. It fell short because even though COVID restrictions had eased up a lot, people weren't feeling safe enough to go back to the cinemas. And look, it was a bit of an odd movie. So, I mean, if you didn't like Christopher Nolan's work, you may not go. But the expectation was it was going to kickstart cinemas again, and it would have been an absolute killer and done 600, 700 million worldwide. It didn't. So Disney watched that, and what they did was, rather than put everything back, so like the latest James Bond movie's been pushed back to November 2021, there's no sign of Black Widow or Wonder Woman 2 or any of those other big marquee type productions. They've all been pushed back because all the movie studios can really do is sit on their IP and wait for the times right to get it in front of people. Disney's very different. What Disney did was they decided, by setting up Disney Plus, they now have a monetizable way to get their product in front of people, despite of COVID, despite people being scared to go to cinemas and all that sort of stuff. So they did it with Mulan, and Mulan was a roaring success, absolute roaring success. They made a lot of money there. So Disney's just released today that their latest Pixar movie called Soul is going to be released exclusively on their streaming service. It won't ever hit the cinemas. So think about what they're doing. They now have got a creative arm which works really well, and they own some of the biggest brands in the world. Good on them. Smart marketing there, smart business work. But on top of the production, they now own the distribution of their own product. They control how it gets to market, who sees it. But they also control the ancillary products. You can bet that the Soul movie by Pixar is probably going to be cute and warm and fuzzy and all that sort of stuff. But all the marketing, all the toys, all the games, all the clothing, all the T-shirts and everything, Disney's going to control where they're sold. And how will they be sold? Through their stores, through their partnerships. How will they be advertised? Through their own streaming service. So Disney's done the opposite of what a lot of businesses are doing. A lot of businesses use aggregators like Facebook and Google. Facebook and Google actually create nothing. But what they do is they provide a means for people like you and I to access other people's content in a way that we find efficient or easy to do, or it just suits us. I think they're both quite clunky, but nonetheless, they're the best available. So what happens is, if I'm a book publisher, firstly, I've got to find an author, and the author publishes a book. Fantastic. Okay, so it's a book on apples. So there's this book on apples. I've got it. It's great. It's terrific. I'm a publisher. I've got to sell it. So that means I need to advertise it. That means I've got to organise distribution. That means I've got to get out there and hope it does it. But because I'm the creator or the owner of the creation, and I don't own my own channel to market, what I have to do is I have to advertise and try and bring people to me, or bring people to my partner channels. The problem with that, of course, is that every other publisher who's got a book on apples is doing exactly the same thing. So the marketplace gets quite crowded. What Disney's done is they've said no to the aggregators. So that's where Facebook and Google come into their strength, is they aggregate other people's content and make it easier to find and enjoy or purchase from them. What Disney's done is they've become their own aggregator. They've taken back all their intellectual property. They've taken back all their brands, and they've created a way to get to market which people can easily access, which delivers what it's supposed to. And now they control from creation, distribution to delivery. Very, very smart. So in your business, how does that apply in your business? I don't know. I mean, I'm a business coach. I'm a board advisor. I do all that sort of stuff. How can I control my way to market? Not sure. I'm using Facebook a lot for these videos because I find it easy to use and I think the reach is quite good. LinkedIn is still problematic, and I'm certainly not these certainly aren't the right thing for Pinterest. Maybe I'll have a go at Instagram in the new year. But my point is, think about your business and think about the Disney model and think about how can you control creation and distribution and delivery to market. Maybe you can't. Maybe you have to go through third parties. Maybe your distribution is you doing one-to-one. If you're running a hairdressing salon or a sports clinic or you're a psychiatrist, a lot of it's going to be your time for money, although you should be able to hire staff and start stepping back so you become a business owner instead of just another employee. But the Disney model is really very interesting because what they've done is taken a lot of foresight. They didn't just set up Disney streaming overnight. They took some years to think about it. So there's some really good strategic minds at work there. So, okay, we're not Disney. We don't have access to their money. And quite frankly, I think very few of us will need to have a streaming service of our own. But just think about that idea. If you're in the creative field, you're creating or manufacturing something, how do you distribute it? And how do you get it in the hand of the end user? And is there another way to do it apart from just defaulting back to using the aggregators like Google or Facebook? I think it's really an interesting strategic and tactical issue to dwell on. So, are you going to be at Disney Plus? Are you going to learn from Disney? Or are you going to keep doing the way you're going? Let me know below. I'm Jeff Hetherington, the profitability coach. Be well, take care, stay safe. I'll talk to you soon.